Thank you, Mr. Postman. Oh, Jenkins. Bargain. Feels a lot heavier than what I was expecting. Oh, blimey. Still a bargain, I think. Oh, no. Oh, bugger. Back to the drawing board, Jenkins. Hello, welcome to Tweed's Garage. In this video, we're going to be doing a bit of learning and then a bit of show and tell. So yeah, there's all the sort of head hurty stuff first, and then afterwards went to the Ardingly Classic bike show and auto jumble or bike jumble or a bit of both jumble sale. Yeah, that sort of thing. Had a look round there. Dottie come with me, so she sort of ran round with the phone and took loads of footage for you, for those that can't get there and have a look round. So yeah, lots of jumble and then some very nice bikes planted here and there in the classic hall and on the jumble stands. Yeah, on the jumble stands there was a very nice, quite taken by a Benelli 125T, which was, yeah, it was really nice. Like that, didn't ask the price. I did have the van though. Yeah, I was very good. Just bought tools. So anyway, you'll see those on the show, no, on the teachy bit, but it's a bit show and telly and a bit teachy. So yeah, that on the bench, and then afterwards you can all have a little relax and a little stroll round Ardingly Classic Bike Show. Okay, so first thing, learny stuff, down to the bench. Right, before we look at the bikes at Ardingly, I did do a bit of shopping there. Didn't buy any new motorbikes, much to Mrs. Tweed's relief, but I did buy some family heirlooms, much to Dottie's chagrin, as they say. No, she sort of likes them really. So first two are a couple of box spanners. This is sort of 1.5 inches across the flats. Nice, useful size. Yes, we'll sort of tuck that away, but they're always useful. You can always adapt them and make them into other tools. Dino made a long reach socket. Unfortunately, I bought these two thinking they'd fit 2 bolts, one on the Scott, one on the aerial. Yeah, and unfortunately I missed it both times. But anyway, we'll put them in the toolbox. They'll be handy. This one's a Whitworth. This is 5/8 Whitworth one end and 3/4 Whitworth the other end. So 2 handy box spanners. And then I always look out for tap and die holders. Got this die holder and this die holder. This is a very nice little one. I've got one similar size, but it's always handy to have a few around. This is a number 2 DS, it says. Not sure who DS is. 13/16 outside diameter dies, and I have got some tiddly ones that go in these size, so that's quite useful. That's a nice one. This one, I reckon it's probably like an apprentice piece or something that somebody's made, but it's been made very nicely. Doesn't have any maker's marks on them, but yeah, a nice thing. Don't think I've got any dies that fit it at the moment, but guaranteed you'll pick some up somewhere along the line that will fit in there. And if not, I can always make a sort of drop-in collar to go in, just to sort of sleeve it down to a different size, make it more adaptable, because these screws have got a little bit of a length on them, so we could take it down a size. Yeah, so there's that, and then the best of the bunch was this Presto tap holder. Very nice thing. Yeah, see, marked up all Presto, and goes from 1/8 of an inch to 1/2 inch taps, so quite a range. And it doesn't have those annoying rattly V blocks in that the cheap ones have, like these. Bloody awful things these are. Anyway, so that's a nice sturdy, you can crank down on that. I think you even probably have a little Tommy bar to squeak it down even more. But yeah, really nice, really pleased with that. Yeah, and I always get them from a chap, sorry I forget your name, but I normally see him at Kempton Park. He was at Ardingly on the Sunday. Whether he's at Kempton Park on the Saturday, I don't know. But yeah, he's normally, I'll tell you where he normally is. He's in the stands, so if you stand facing the stands, he's normally left-hand side, about second to third pitch in, selling tools, and it always has a nice selection of tools, nicely presented, and very good prices. And he'll always do you a deal, you know, if you're sort of buying bits and bobs and, you know, putting a group together. So yeah, thanks very much. He said stick them up on the shelf behind, but there you go, got them on screen. Stick your name down below so I remember who you are. Okay, so that was just going to be that, just show and tell, show you those. But I was sitting there like we do late at night, and saw something on eBay and excitedly ordered it. And yeah, and it sort of turned up in the post, and it was so heavy I thought, what the bloody hell is this? I can't remember ordering something this heavy. Come in a box like that. Lathe tool, yeah. And here it is. Yeah, don't look that big when you first look at it, but it's massive. Yeah, it's 32 deep, 25 wide. Now, if I was so here we go. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of carbide tool holders and inserts. Yeah, so I sort of learned a little bit buying this, and that was the reason I bought it is because if you look at the way the tool is here, this takes what they call a CNMG insert. Now, most of your CNMG tooling, hang on a minute, that'll confuse you. Yeah, you can see the difference in size, can't you? And that's this is sort of like standard sort of hobby size. Let me give it a brush. It's absolutely filthy. Yeah, I think it's time I sack Jenkins. So yeah, CNMG. Most of the tools you have, all the tooling you have, the insert is this way. It's a sort of rhombic is what they call it. Oh, he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, because I'm looking at the book. So yeah, a rhombic shape. So and you tend to find most of the holders that you have, if you buy them on for the hobby machine, they will be like this. So you'll be using this tip here, and then, you know, when you wear that tip, you can use that tip, and then you can flip it over. Let me show you. You use this tip and then this tip, you can flip it over, and you've got a tip there and a tip there. And then the trouble is, you end up with all these inserts with this tip, this tip, this tip, this tip, unused. Now, you can get, allegedly, milling cutters that will take a CNMG and use this tip here, but you can get turning tools occasionally. And I saw this on eBay. I thought, that's what I need, because look, the insert goes that way. So you use the tip that doesn't get used on all your other tools. Yeah, unfortunately, this doesn't fit on here, you see. Now, I knew there were smaller ones, and I thought once they got to this size, this was sort of like the standard size, but no, because machinery is even bigger. So yeah, this is I bought some bigger ones, or some that I picked up with the lathe at machine sales. No, not that one. This one. So this is a left-handed CNMG. So again, it uses this tip here and that tip there, but not these corners here. But this was quite a big one. It's 25 by 25. But it fits in the bigger holders that I've got. But this one, you can see it's even bigger than that. Like, it's sort of six inches long and wider for even bigger lathes. And I should have known. So you start learning things. See, the part number 32 is the depth that way. 25 is the depth that way. And then the other thing that sort of made me groan, because I thought, well, that's all right. What we'll do, we'll stick it in the mill, and then we'll just mill off 5mm off the bottom there, and then it will fit in all my holders, and it will still be a bargain. But then when I tried to put the insert in, yeah, you realise these don't fit, and that's because there's a size above these. So if we look again, 16, and that is the length of the sides of your insert. These are 14. No, they're 12. See, learning something again. Yeah, they are 12. You go from about there to there. but you're sort of at the centre of the radius because you get different radiuses. And yeah, you probably don't even know this. You buy a hobby one, you buy sort of, you know, 5 tips with it, 10 tips, you use it quite happily, and you may never know, you may never use them all up. But then when you do, trying to find one, what type of insert it is, two, what size it is, you know, and what type of material it cuts and all stuff like that, it all gets very confusing. So it's sort of handy to have a bit of knowledge. Now, I have got a machinery handbook. This is a 25th edition. I think, yeah, after this, the paper started getting really thin. They started getting a bit rubbishy. But unfortunately, I think the technology, when this was published, indexable tip tools were only just sort of coming in. So there's not a huge amount of information on there. And yeah, sort of it tells you a little bit in there about them and how to identify them, but not too much. So you can go on the internet and find information, and normally they're sort of, it's information scavenged off of books like this. This is a handy little book, especially for carbide inserts. So here we have some of the inserts and how to identify them. So when you've got, sorry, I keep showing my black fingernail. So let's start with a pack here, simple pack, and then you'll find it'll have letters at the start, then numbers, and then a few other letters, or it sort of gets a bit of a grey area further down as you get into specialist inserts, and that it sort of all varies down here, and the information gets harder to find. But the basic is these letters tell you the shape of the insert, the angle of the relief on it, the tolerance, and then the chip breaker shape, and also the hole in the middle. Yeah, so here we go. So it's a C. If we go down here, it shows you here that C is a rhombic. Yeah, so that's the shape. And then C, and then I know it's an N, and an N is 0 relief angle on it, because the actual relief angle is done by the tool. It's actually set on the tool holder like that. You see it all sits back at an angle, so you've got your relief on the front here, and then your top rake and your top relief is sort of formed in the top of the insert, you know, when they mould them. Yeah, that's your chip breaker all in there, designed into it. But you also can get different angle rakes on them, and then I'll grab the tool here where I've got it. They tend to be sort of more specialised, or for something that needs a big relief angle on, like sort of aluminium, stuff like that. So then you get them like this. So if you can see that, it's very difficult to see, but it has got a relief angle. You know, it goes in at the bottom compared to the top. Yeah, although the tool is, you know, flat. Yeah, so the angle, the relief angle is actually on the insert. But the trouble with these is you only get 4 edges, because there's a relief angle here. You can't flip them upside down like you can with a CNMG or other inserts. I'll show you in a minute. I'll take you to the drawer. So it's a CNMG, so there's no relief angle on it. It's completely 90 degrees to the top, but it allows you to flip the insert over and use the corners on the bottom. You know, start off, that's the top, use that one, and then you can flip it over and use that one. So you get 8 bites of the cherry from one insert, whereas these ones with the relief angles, you only get 4 goes at it. Well, see, this is why I went for this. You only really get 2, unless you've got a tool holder that uses this corner and this corner as well. See? And then the next thing is the tolerance, you know, and that is how accurate they are when you've got a batch of them, you know, you move between them, the sort of guaranteed tolerance on them between, you know, on the whole size of the thing. So an M is 0.08 to 0.18 of a millimetre, plus or minus. And then you find you get finer and finer tolerances, but you'll find as you go up the tolerances, so if you had a sort of TN AG, say, the tolerances would be 0.005 millimetres plus or minus, you would find that the cost of the insert would be a lot more expensive, you know, because they've got to manufacture them to really tight tolerances. So yeah, M is fine for general machining, but you know, you're doing avionics stuff or rocket science, yeah, you need to be buying them sort of up around the A's. And a good indication here is a guy that does some reasonably priced inserts on YouTube. We've got a CC, so that's the C is the shape, so C is a rhombic again, and then C, second C, is it's got a relief angle of 7 degrees on it. And then G is the tolerance. G tolerance is 0.025. So if you compare that price, GT, CCGT to a CCMT, they're £14.45 and they're £19.45. I mean, that's, you know, that's reasonable because these are very reasonable. Probably Indian ones are that, but they do the job. You know, this is that some? No, there's some of his there. And again, different shape. These are a WNMG. So W is the shape, and it's this trigon down here. So yeah, and again, you get 3 bites of the cherry on these ones. I don't think there's any that use, whether there's a milling cutter that might use this corner here, you know, this one here. But yeah, quite a handy tool for turning. And again, tolerance the same, it's an M and a G. And then we move over to the other side, so let's go here. So this one's 12 and this one's 08, and that is the cutting length of the insert. Yeah, so from there to there before the radius. Yeah, so what do you say that was? That's a 12, and 12 is, you know, the length between there and there on a CNMG. And then on the W, the trigon, it's from the middle to the outside edge. And on these ones, it's 08 millimeters. Yeah, and these are 12. And this is getting back to, I should have known when I looked at the tool, the part number of this one is 16. So it takes a CNMG tool, but then that number there needs to be 16. And then you go on, it's the thickness of the insert that way, top to bottom, thickness there. Yeah, these are normally about the same. What are they doing there? 4 millimeters. Yeah, and then the next number, 08, is the radius, which is this radius here. And as you see, it varies on different inserts. There. These ones, what's it? Radius is 04 millimeters. So these are a bit. See, they've got a tighter radius on the end. Yeah. So they all mean things. The trouble is, it's fine when they're in a packet and you've got the numbers on the back of the packet. It makes them easy to identify. But you know, if you're sort of picking them up from like an auto jumble, or you know, you bought an old tool and you've got a load of inserts with it, unfortunately the manufacturers don't tend to put the number on them, there might be some sort of material codes. Just trying to see this Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi just tends to be a part number. Let's have a look at some other ones. What was this one? See, it's got 2025. I mean, what does that mean? Yeah. So you don't even know who the manufacturer is of that one. There's Mitsubishi again. No, and then some of them don't even have numbers on at all. So you're sort of on a hiding to nothing. So see, something like this, guide like this, is really useful. So you can sort of, you can be able to grub through and find, once you know what you're looking for, you'll be able to find your inserts by the size, the shape, and also, I didn't say, number 4, the G, we were on about, because we were talking about tolerance, but we didn't talk about the G, which is the fixing and chip breaker. So it shows you here, like the hole that goes through it, and then the chip breaker, because CNMG is double-sided, you can see the top and the bottom, you can see the chip breaker and the fixing hole in the middle. So most of these ones, they all have a centre post. This is why I need bigger inserts for this, you see, because this is actually a bigger hole required compared to the 12mm CNMG inserts there. Yeah, so you get those type, now pin, and what happens is you undo the Allen bolt at the back there, and it releases the tension on this pin, and you can take the insert off. You find a Allen key for that. So yeah, just loosen that off. Not showing you very well. Loosen that off, then you can see it drops away from its home position. You can just take it off like that. Yeah, and then turn it round, turn it round, turn it round, turn it round. Pop it back on, and then you just make sure it's clean before you put a new one on, and then you just tighten up your Allen key, Torx key, whatever it has on the tool, and just nip it up. You don't need to go nuts on them. So there's those type, there's this type that have the screw, Torx screw in the middle. There's another type that has a clamp over the top, like this one. So some are fixed like that, where you do the top clamp up and it clamps it all down. Yeah, and then again that uses these W NMG inserts. Yeah, quite a nice one. Turning, facing and turning. Yeah, so handy little book, and then again it's one of these things that once you get into it, you can go deeper and deeper. So you get some of these numbers aren't on the boxes. Some might be on the tools, or they might be specialist, that you've got to feed one way or the other. And then so it goes on. There's so many types of insert, sort of metric ones. There's little ones that go down into the milling cutters. Let me show you those. Yeah, got a shell mill here. Uses these inserts here that have a rake angle on the sides of them all the way round, and then they're sort of pushed down into their home position by these tapered clamps all the way around the shell mill. So there's that one. So they look like that. And then again they've got different numbers, SEEN, which we can see here. Yeah, there's our milling section here, so SS. So S is square, E, 20-degree rake, and we've got another E, which is our tolerance. Oh, no wonder they were expensive. Yeah, and then your fixing, N, so it's no fixing hole through it. The the insert is just clamped down into the tool. So there's that one, and we've got another type here. These are round ones. I've been in there, so you can have a look at these. See, again, you know, that number, or that part number doesn't equate to anything about the size, shape, or width of it. So these are round ones for another shell mill, and they're clamped in. But we can, where's the number for these? RG, so R's probably round. Round, yeah. G 30 degree relief rake on them. Yeah. E is the tolerance, 0.025, and N is again, they're flat, no hole. Yeah. So RGEN milling cutters. Okay, and it goes on and on. You can get inserts for boring bars, get different shape ones, mainly triangular, and again tend to be flat, so they're sort of clamped with a little arm that comes over the top. And then you've got your thread cutting inserts, you know, but again you can sort of identify them by these numbers. So maybe if you've got a tool with no insert in, you know, you find one. I mean, I was lucky with this one. This was one of the boring bars that I bought, but it just takes a CNMG insert in that one. So that works well. Sometimes they're specialist, but it takes you a while. It's like this little parting off tool I got. I've had it years. Bought it at one of the model engineering shows. There was a chap that used to sell these, I think, called Greenwood Tools, and basically it's a parting off blade, but they were mounted on a block, so they were easy to go in tool holders. And once he retired, you couldn't get hold of the tips. So searched and measured and looked, and then on eBay I think I found some that looked similar, so I measured them, sent the measurements to the guy, and he measured them and confirmed that, you know, that's what they were. So I bought them, and it was a sort of, you know, new old stock set, Sandvik, the Sandvik parting off inserts, and it turns out what it is, it's a Sandvik parting off tool, but they're normally double-headed, and he obviously, you know, used to buy them, cut them in half, mount them on a block, and sell them like that to the model engine fraternity with a couple of inserts. But yeah, to be fair, I think the first insert I broke quite quickly, and the other insert it lasted for bloody years until I finally knocked it off and had to go in search of trying to find some tips to get it going again. So yeah, you can find them. But there is a logic to it, you know. It's all in this little book. If you can sort of measure the tips, and I think it's probably got parting off blades in here as well. You know, and it shows you, you know, what sort of cut the different tool angles do when they're mounted. You know, the tool holders that you get, what you can do with them. So this is a good little black books. They do 2 editions, I think. They do a metric one and an imperial one. I think it's an American book, but yeah, quite useful. See, and you've got a picture there of, you know, that's just some of the common tips you can get. Yeah, so there you go. So what we're going to do with this, don't know. I have found, I've been on eBay again and had a little look, and now I know the sizes. I've been able to find some, you know, new old stock inserts to go with it, or do I just sort of put this on the shelf and then go and see if I can find one that fits the 12mm CNMGs. Don't know. It's a nice tool though. I mean, it's brand new in a box. Came with the Allen key and everything. So yeah. Anyway, we'll stick it at the back. That's what we tend to do. Stick them in a drawer, and then we might sort of stumble across some inserts to get it up and running. There you go. Yeah, so I'll show you my little drawer. Hang on a minute, let's take it down there. Yeah, so this is me my drawer of carbide inserts that I've gradually built up over the years, and then yeah, boring bars that aren't being used at the moment, tucked in here. Got some threading bars, some boring bars and that. I tend to pick these up from the lady, oh, is it JB Cutting Tools, I think. She's very good. Yeah, it does very reasonably priced tooling and inserts and that, and she's normally at all the auto jumbles and car shows and engineering shows and that. Yeah, she wasn't at Ardingly, but she was probably at Kempton Park. Yeah, and this was another one. See, I picked up a tool. Where is it? Oh yeah, this one here. So this is a grooving tool that I picked up at auction. Yeah, it's in amongst some of the other, like the boring, couple of boring bars and this one, but it had no insert in it, so it's very difficult to work out what went in there. But I eventually managed to track it down by the part number. They're German made, these. Can't remember the number, but I managed to find an insert number. Yeah, so they do grooving. It's a grooving tool, and you can get round ones as well, so you could do sort of O-ring grooves as well. So quite a useful little thing. And again, just kept looking on eBay, and eventually, yeah, managed to get a set of new old stock inserts. Yeah, Horn, that's the company that made these grooving tools. But yeah, I've got enough in there to last me a lifetime of grooving. Yeah, I can groove like the best of them. Yeah, so there you go. And here's tiny little ones here. So if you've got a smaller lathe, you might recognise these smaller ones. What else? We've got tiny little... yeah, these are all... I don't know where I'll pick these up. These are all 1mm threading inserts for 1mm depth of thread, or 1mm pitch. Same there. Yeah, so always pick them up if you see them. But yeah, if you manage to sort of pick up, you know, a few tools with no inserts, don't dismiss them. Buy them, tuck them away. Just do your research. Do your research, as the advert says. Yeah, and with a bit of measuring and a bit of information out of a sort of book like this, or like I say, you can find some of this information online. But yeah, this is a handy little book anyway. It's like a sort of mini version of the machinery handbook. Yeah, it's got all your spur gears, pitches, and key formulas and stuff. Of course, I use all of this. Not much, but yeah, a useful little book to have in the workshop. So there you go. Right, that's enough of that. Let's go and look at some motorbikes.
They made scooters much stronger than even Vespa. They started.
Hello, and welcome to Jazz Club. Cool.
So there you go. That was Ardingly Classic Bike Show and Jumble, Auto Jumble, Bike Jumble, Jumble. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you sort of liked having a look round, and yeah, it was a nice one. Yeah, I enjoyed it. The weather was nice, which made it all better because a lot of it was outside, but yeah, that stuff inside as well. So all good. Did bump into a couple of subscribers. I think hello Nick, and didn't catch the other guy's name, and then somebody who sort of knew of me, had a chat, something flyer. Yeah, hello to you. Can't remember what it was. Not Missenden Flyer, it was another flyer. Yeah, nice to meet you all and have a chat. And yeah, thanks to the tool guy there as well. I'll bump into you again at Kempton Park, and I will remember your name next time. All right, so that's all for now, I think. Yeah, that'll do you. So yeah, off you trot, and I'll see you next time. All right. Oh, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, as they say, because Jenkins sherbet fountain stocks are running low, so we could do with some pocket money. Perk him up. All right. Cheerio. See you next time. Bye. Yeah, I know. We'll get some more for you, Jenkins. Door shut. Jumble. And hello. What was a bit high. Car. So, first things, Ardingly boat show. Haven't been to it before.